Bastard Munich vs Paris X Generation, mainly referred to as PXG, is the match we've all been waiting for ever since we found out where all the Blue Lock players chose which club they want to join. Now, fast forward 2 years later after seeing the conclusion to the matches between Bastard Munich vs FC Barca, PXG vs Ubers, Bastard vs Mannheim City, FC Barca vs Ubers, and the current match between Bastard Munich and Ubers, we are just a few chapters away from seeing the legendary match between Bastard Munich and PXG. Hey guys, Dark Hero Josh here, and today I'm going to be talking about why Bastard Munich vs PXG is the most anticipated match in all of the Neo Egoist League, and why it's going to live up to the hype to be such a great game with all the matchups we're expected to get, the new matchups we can expect to get, new growth on old characters we haven't seen in a while, etc, etc. So without further ado, let's get straight into this video. Now, since we follow Bastard Munich's progression in the league, being that Isagi's on that team, I feel like we should learn a bit more about France's PXG, especially being that out of all the teams, PXG is the one we know least about. In chapter 154, after finding out which club everyone decided to play for, we see that the players of Blue Lock who've decided to go to France's PXG are Itoshi Rin, Karasu Tobito, Tokimitsu Aoshi, Tsurugi Zantetsu, Nanase Nijiro, Cho Kento of the former U20 team, Yuzu Haruhiko, Endoji Akira, and last but not least, the Demon Shido Ryusei. Now, reflecting on everyone who went to PXG, we can see that it's a pretty stacked team to say the least, with the top two strikers of Blue Lock, Rin and Shido, a great CDM like Karasu, and players with a lot of potential given the right needs and circumstances like Zantetsu, Tokimitsu, and to be quite honest, Nanase as well. Now, I don't really feel like we need to go over who chose to go on Bastard, but for the sake of this video, let's just briefly go over the 10 players who decided to choose that club. With those 10 being Blue Lock's hero, Isagi Yoichi, the one-on-one Emperor, Yukimiya Kenyu, Raichi Jingo, Blue Lock's Guardian, Gagamaru Gin, Igarashi Gurimu, Neru Tepe of the former U20 team, Kurona Ranze, who's been doing absolutely amazing in the league for a character we've only recently seen play, by the way, Kiyora Jin, the man with the passing skills comparable to the likes of Itoshi Sai, Hiyori Yo, and the sole wildcard survivor and dark horse of the team, and to be quite frank, this whole league, the new and improved anti-hero Kunigami Rensuke. Now, obviously, after those lists of names, we have a lot of rivalries and matchups that we can most definitely expect, as well as some that may surprise some of us. If not, the biggest one everyone's expecting being Shido and Kunigami. Now, when we think back, we remember that Shido pretty much 1v2'd Kunigami and Reo back in the second selection arc, and chose Reo over him, crushing his hero mentality and mindset in the process, ultimately eliminating him from Blue Lock. Or so we thought, as we see that he chose to enter the wild card door to be given another chance to achieve his dream. But as we see his official appearance, especially in physique, change greatly, we can also see the dead look in his face. We also find out from Ego that he forced different philosophies to those who were in the wild card, so that probably explains why his whole playing style and sort of attitude towards the sport in a whole kind of changed. Kunigami later then explains to Isagi that the wild card was an experimental survival game to create a vessel who possesses the same physique as Noel Noah with the same ambidexterity and all. Now, what everyone is saying is that this is going to be like Kunigami's get back match, his revenge match against Shido for what went down in the second selection. Some people are also thinking that he's going to awaken his hero self again in this match, and we'll probably get even a chemical reaction between those two, like old times. Overall, this is the matchup I'd say the majority of fans are excited for to see during this match. Another rivalry that everyone is waiting for just as much as Shido versus Kunigami is, of course, Isagi's and Rin's matchup. Now, it's an absolute no-brainer on why this matchup is so anticipated. When Ego was selecting the starting 11 who will go up against the Japan U20 team, Isagi was chosen as the only person who can maximize Rin's performance, And being that he was the center forward of the team, it makes sense to have someone like Isagi stand by Rin's side to build that sort of devouring relationship between them for them to grow, and overall maximize Rin's ability, of course. So for a while, Isagi and Rin were kind of like the official unofficial package. Back in the second selection, when Isagi got Rin with that back heel shot of his, surpassing him in that moment, Isagi and Rin always had this sort of rivalry back and forth going on between them, and this is later confirmed at the end of the U20 match. When Isagi got the game-winning goal from that match, he practically gained all the spotlight, even getting the recognition of Sai, Rin's older brother, being a striker that could change Japan. From there, Rin officially saw Isagi as his rival, an equal that he needed to defeat, so much so as well as his older brother. During the Neo Egoist League, we've only seen Rin once, scoring the game winner against Ubers. We also know in that match that he scored 2 of those goals, and with Shido scoring the other one, of course. And watching Isagi's growth with metavision and all that just makes fans wonder just how much Rin has grown as well. It's also going to be the first match we see Rin and Isagi play against each other since the second selection, so this match we'll be able to see them actually go all out against each other, devouring each other to grow to even higher heights. Now this matchup, if it actually ends up happening of course, could end up being the best matchup we'll see yet in this match, at least between master strikers. Yup, I'm talking about Noel Noah versus Julian Loki. Despite their age gap, both players play on the France national team, but play for different clubs of course, for Noah playing for Bastard Munich, while Loki plays for PXG. Now, we already got Noah versus Chris Prince, the official world's #1 versus #2, but I honestly think that this will be more of an interesting and entertaining matchup, being that despite Noah being the best in the world, Loki is already on his sort of level when it comes to world-class skill at the young age of 17. We don't know too much about these characters as of right now, what they're fully capable of, but you guys are gonna have to trust me on this one and invest in the Noah versus Loki stock for real. Now the next few that I'm going to mention are not as important in comparison to the rest, but it might be something we can look out for. For example, the return of Team A from the third selection with Rin, Shido, Nanase, Isagi, and Hiyori being on the same field again. But of course on this time different sides. And also assuming Nanase and Hiyori will end up being starters or sub in this match. And when I say this, I mainly mean Nanase because as we know from our knowledge, Nanase has not played in the league yet. And considering how the Ubers match is looking right now, Hiyori might make an appearance on the field really soon. Nanase could also link up to Isagi in that game because compared to Rin and Shido, his ideas were more understandable to him, making them easier to follow and read. Now, I'm pretty sure Nanase hasn't played in the league yet, as I state again, but if he does, if he manages to become a starter or sub in or something of the sort, he might have Isagi on locks. I could also see Karasu and Hiyori have a little moment in this match because they used to play for the same team in high school, and Karasu even figured out Hiyori didn't really like football, despite how great and talented he was at it, and told him that he should find something to invest in to get his blood pumping. And as we can see in this Ubers match, Isagi's plays are making Hiyori's blood pump, making him want to join Isagi on the field. Now with how everything's going and Hiyori actually does end up subbing into this match, it'll all just make sense. Now I kinda wanted to make a whole separate video on my thoughts on these next 2 players I'm about to mention and their possible importance that might come up into this match in much more detail, but in this video I'm just gonna briefly go over it, with those 2 characters being Zantetsu and Tokimitsu. Everyone is thinking that these 2 are about to go crazy, and honestly I don't blame them. Mainly Zantetsu, being that he's insanely fast, like explosively fast, and we've seen this in the first selection. People are saying that Loki is probably gonna help him maximize his acceleration speed, maybe to a point where he'll be on par with him or maybe even Chigiri, because as we've seen, Chigiri's speed is insane. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure his speed's at a 98. So I don't know, if Loki can put Zantetsu up there with the likes of Chigiri on its own would be crazy. And Tokimitsu, Honestly, that man just needs confidence, man. He's a great player overall, but he just lacks confidence, and that really hinders him in his game. Like, him and Rin's link-up play is still his best feat to date. As far as I remember, these two also haven't gotten any playing time on the field, but hopefully the two of them will be able to show their strengths and potentials for the world to see. But with that, that's all I've got for you guys today. So if you guys did enjoy the video, then please leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and comment down below your thoughts on the match between Bastard and PXG and who'll end up on top. But with that, I hope you guys have a great day, and see ya.